Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Commitment to excellence, 60%. Okay, way to go, class. This 60% is excellent. I've got so much fun stuff for us today. I can't even contain myself. Yeah, me neither. First, we'll start off with worksheet 17. Dun, dun, dun. It's front to back. We'll be discussing many of these concepts in a future class. There you go. There you go. Your row, not so much today. So let's see if we can remember our classmates who are here just by name. Dalton, Jared, Trevor, Kevin. I think we can still call him Kevin. Kevin.
Jake.
I'm stay floating.
Jam.
Yeah. Frederick.
Freddie.
Does anybody else call Frederick Frederick?
No.
What do you call him?
Freddie.
Freddie. Okay. He never corrected me. Don't I always ask people what they like to be called?
I don't think he really cares either way.
I think he's just here.
Yeah.
He's not here now.
Jam's here.
Throw that background away. Okay, the next thing, even more fun, is the next set of homework. Which I think is pretty easy, actually.
What do you think of your second line?
The
what? The second line.
Of this or this?
I don't know if you know this is super easy.
Weird.
That was 6
So everything I wrote was 6.
Yeah, it was very
Someone tells me we're supposed to lie
Anybody playing recital class today? Really?
I'm not even gonna
Do
change.
you play?
Girl with the flax in hair with the brass on tip.
I know, I just haven't thought about why. I didn't think about it.
Actually, me and Jake.
Yeah, it goes to like 1.
What are you doing? You're singing? What are you
Because our
singing?
tones are just like synced.
Say that again.
Like no one thinks of it.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, no, Sunday morning I was like, because I got up at like 8.
It was like 8:30. It was like
Well, just so you know, I've like taken my tree post to like a new low level. I used to be all about like binding trees and high trees, but now just really low. But the new challenge is to do it with the interdirsty with the eyes closed.
Oh.
Fall over. It really helps the ankles. I'm sure I've discussed this before, but you know, it is November. Reruns are a little bit in order. I think so. Blessings to all. Now, guess what? I graded the test papiers. That's French for papers. And they were pretty good. Actually, the class average was over 90. Okay, here's the thing. There were 62 possible chords. Everything counts the same, right? So they broke down to be 6, 8, 10, 6, 7, 7, 6, 12. What I did is everything that was completed, meaning the entire excerpt was completed, I graded that, and that's your first score. And it may say something like 50 over 62. That would indicate that you did all 62 chords and you got 50 of them right. The next thing was I graded your best 4 examples. Does that make sense? And then that's the second grade. That may say something like 28 over 32. But in every instance, the second grade greater than first grade. Okay? So what I wanted you to know is how much you really know, and 2, how much I graded you on the parts that you could do. That didn't seem to make any sense, but I think intuitively we could guess what I was talking about. Now, as a general thing, and if we could just possibly just think about this for a minute. What have we focused on this semester? I'll tell you one thing, passing 6/4 chord. So if you can't do a passing 6/4 chord, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I can't teach you if you can't do it at this point. So what was the main object of the passing 6/4 chord? We know it does certain things, right? And if it doesn't do those certain things, it's not right. There are alternate definitions. Okay? So, look on your paper and see if you missed a passing 6/4 chord. All right? Number 1. 2, what else have we focused on this semester? A lot. Dominant 7th chord. If you can't do that, I can't help you. Mainly everybody did pretty darn good. Sam, let's help an old man out. Here, pass me that. Greg, pass it over to Greg. Bailey, pass it over to Bailey. KJ, pass it over to KJ. I could get more centrally located, couldn't I? Pass that back to Jam Jam. Pass this back to Kyle.
Kyle's right here.
Oh, there you go.
Messing with you. Pass that to dude in the back, Michael. Oh, nobody guessed Sienna when we were naming people not here.
God, I stress it.
Everybody guessed her. But me.
Apparently all of them.
I don't know what the
Dalton, no here. Emma,
I also didn't know
pass that to
so
Emma,
I couldn't
please.
correct it.
That's you, Jared.
Your first mistake.
Pass that to Jared,
The
please.
reason I got 2 points off is because I didn't.
Rocky, back to Victoria. Trevor, no here.
But I'm done then. What happens when you're
I don't understand.
Okay, everybody who's here should have a paper. If you don't, you know. Okay, let's check the time.
Like I said, I did it.
We've done 10 minutes of nothing, so let's continue in that same vein. Oh, I wore this jacket. I never know what I'm gonna wear any particular day. But the previous time, I took my wife out to dinner the other night, like a dig, you know, and I reached in my pocket after I'm coming back to the car after the date, and I'm like, oh, zip ties. Does everyone bring zip ties on dates?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, the previous time I had been doing some technical work that we all use
So I should have
uniform
added an
zip
extra voice
ties.
instead of
You should put this primary
All our
clipping
zip ties.
You just did that wrong. Like,
Yes, I took a zip tie on my
in piano style.
I don't care.
What a day
You could've-
Saturday
you should've skipped
was.
it every,
I went to the beach.
there's a passing system.
You ever been to Johnson Beach? It's on Perdido Key.
And the voice
Oh,
was
it's
in the,
amazing out there. It cost $15 there, but it's worth it. We hung out there and then we went down to the Perdido Key place, which is nice. It's close to the water. Very nice. Drove around a little bit. What a beautiful day. Last night, daylight savings time. We used it to its fullest. Yesterday, 80 degrees in November. Pretty nice. I spent some time in quiet meditation on the golf course. It was fun. Nobody else out there. It was amazing.
Pretty great.
It's like you get in the middle of the course and nobody is around. It's really quite quiet. I saw a giant blue heron or some big ass bird and a hawk. It was amazing. What were we doing? I don't want to go over the test. Let's talk about diminished seventh chords because that's really where it's at for me. Now we're going to talk about a new kind of diminished seventh chord that doesn't function as a dominant. Okay? This is different. This is new information, not shared to you by Dr. Franklin. Okay? This is Durant only. Have we discussed common tone diminished seventh chords before?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, why don't we pick a chord? Great. How's C? Is everybody good with that? Okay. Solid keyboard style there. Okay, now what we want is a diminished seventh chord that is common, has a common tone. And this is how we part write it. We call it that, a common tone, fully diminished seventh chord. Now, what is the common tone? Is the bass note, which in this case is the root, okay? But it's not gonna be the root of this chord. But let's think of chords that could be fully diminished seventh chords with C in the bass. Well, say C was the root. C, E flat, G flat, B double flat. Okay, but think of that in another way. It could be C, D sharp, F sharp, A, right? That sounds exactly the same, but it's spelt differently. Now, what is chromatic neighbor notes to this? Is that. Do you agree? Now that's a triad at this point. What would make that a diminished seventh, fully diminished seventh chord? What other note? A, as an apple, shiny and bright. Okay. Now, this is, if this were functional, it would be, what would the leading tone be? What's the root of the chord? C is the bass note.
D sharp.
D sharp is the root. Okay, so what is that D sharp? Let me guess. What's that the leading tone to?
E natural.
E natural. Okay, so in what respect, if this were a dominant function, what would the spelling of the chord be that it resolved to? Let's just put this out over here as a separate, we're gonna resolve this chord, and who could tell me what the chord is in the key of C? Functional. What's its functional chord? We're going to talk about this in a second, but I need to pre-confuse you with this. All right? Just covering all the bases.
Is it 3?
You're saying 7/7 of 3?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in fact, it would be 7/4/2 of 3. Yes?
Yeah.
This is a very difficult chord. What is the first resolution going to be? This is why we don't have 7/4/2 chords, by the way. What is the first thing you do in a fully diminished seventh chord when you resolve it?
The interval, the diminished. Yeah, the tritone.
Yes, resolve the tritone with the bass. So that's C to F sharp is a fourth, right? So it's got to go to that. The next thing is resolve any other diminished fifth. Do we have another diminished fifth? That's correct, we do. So here is the thing, we're resolving that to a 6/4 chord, aren't we? So that's why that almost never happens. You almost never have a 7/4/2 chord because it's a very awkward resolution, isn't it? Say yes. Yes. But what would be the deceptive value of 7/3? What does it resolve to deceptively? Okay, this is how you do this. Would you like to know how to do this? 1 is to 6 as 3 is to 5,000. Do you see how that works, right? 1 is to 6 as 3 is to x. X being the chord in question. X equals
1.
Exactly. So the deceptive resolution of 7/3 would be 1-ish, wouldn't it? But that's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is how would this resolve? I believe like that, or it's also okay to go back to where it came from. Now what is this called? Common tone diminished seventh chord. And when you hear it, you will think, I've heard that before, now I know what it is. Are you ready to think that? Let's say we're having a little tune. Yeah, we'll have a little tune. last chord. It's beginning our song on the board. Are you ready? You need more volume for this. You ever heard that in your life? Yeah. It's sort of early 20th century vaudeville sound, isn't it? That's called a common tone diminished seventh chord. What does it do in reality? Well, you know, I guess it doesn't matter what I say here, does it? The frog hopped on the lily pad. That's the reality of the situation. Uh-oh. Someone changed the professor's meds again. Okay, in the clearest sense is this. Let's change voices. Here's the E and the G, right? That's what happens there. You see the double neighbor chromatic notes there. Kind of country music like. Okay? Now you add that fourth voice. Or you could go back the other direction. So where would this normally occur? Somewhere like this. As a tag ending kind of a thing, or an extension to an already cadenced cadence. Or possibly as a melodic and also as a thing. Okay, what were we talking about? Common tone diminished seventh chord. Now if this did this, that would be the 7-4-2 of 3 chord. Here comes 7-4-2 of 3, which goes to 3-6-4. I hope that helped. Now, along with this inharmonicness that we're having today is, what if you had a fully diminished seventh chord and suddenly its spelling was something else? Or what if you had a dominant seventh chord? It could be a fully diminished seventh chord too, couldn't it? Let's think about that. Let's take any given dominant seventh chord. How about G, B, D, F? Change one note chromatically and make it a fully demented seventh chord. Did you say G to G sharp? Yes. That's right. Okay. What is the difference in those two chords? G, B, D, F goes where? C. Where does it go deceptively? A. Where does G sharp B D F go? G sharp B D F, where does it go? You might have said it, but I didn't hear you. What is the leading tone in this chord? G G sharp, E, D, F. The leading tone, what is it the leading tone to? A. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, you were right. I was having an eye rolling, shaking my head moment. But I may not have needed to do that. It's usually not ignorance, it's confusion, isn't it? Such a friendly guy. So, what if I'm in the key of C? You want to be in the key of C? Okay, so now let's think, y'all know this forever now, common tone diminished seventh chord. You probably would benefit from better instruction, but also figured bass might help. That's a /4/2, and there's little lines there to show the exact placement of the intervals. Anybody understand that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah? Common tone diminished seventh chord, you don't see it very much, but you still have to know how to do it. Okay? A lot of things we're discussing right about now aren't the most common things in music, but they are the sophomore theory things of music. It's about to go away, but forever immortalized on YouTube.
I watch most of them.
I've got it on loop.
Purple like the one where the
If,
says
whatever you think,
I'm just curious what
you think when you're watching me either live or on video, I'm thinking the same thing. Really, I am. It's like, God, this is awful.
I'm just curious if like some kid is like watching it and they're like, wow, all those kids are stupid.
Like thinking about coming to South and I watched that video.
How many of you were in the honor band before you came to here?
That was the
So many.
You were the first other
yeah, never did it after.
I didn't know. I never did an honor marching band. I don't think they had those back in the 20th century. You can do whatever you want. Okay, now we're gonna change one note chromatically to give it a different function. Sam was thinking that. Okay, so that's the leading tone of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's a different chord too, isn't it? Much less useful chord because again, it resolves to what? Say a second inversion chord.
Second inverted chord.
Right, that's why it's awkward. Okay, if you resolve this correctly, you would get little some like that, and that's just awkward. Okay. Now, the same chord here can you change 3 notes chromatically to give it a different function?
No.
The answer is yes or no. Or can you what would encompass half step from here? What about that? What's the root of that? That looks crazy, doesn't it? That's not right at all, is it? No. All right, go another different half step. That one seems to make a whole lot more sense, doesn't it? That would become in A flat, would go to an A flat chord. Okay, so here's our chord. Bass by a half step. Everybody else by a half step. And you'll hear that a lot in the music of the late classics and into the romantics. Okay, we're gonna take one chord and make it be a different chord. Okay, so let's pick a key. Okay, I think everybody, how many are going to be gone on Friday by applause? Does anyone have a syllabus? I know that's a big ask. Anyone have a syllabus on their person? Who has syllabus?
Hey, the tuba player, man. Surprising.
I found two players to be often quite brilliant.
Weren't you a tuba player?
Just saying. Except for the part about carrying large objects around.
Taco tuba.
I've always thought that the amount of stuff you carry around is inversely proportional to your object. What we're looking for is what do next.
It's a whole lot.
Okay, 1019, preset 7 of McGaffin. October 19th, that's coming up, so get ready. Sight singing test, I think last week of school for you guys, so that'll be nice. Dictation test appears to be next week.
Yep, on Thursday.
Quizzes, I don't know. All right. We did test 4, and we have test 5 on Friday, 11/17.
Hey, fine. I don't know anything about this. So I need to get some definitions from you.
Okay, homework assignments are due beginning August 28th, except for September 4th and November
Literally one under,
27th.
it's all you gotta know.
What is that? Is it the day after
What's
Thanksgiving?
Alpha Syria?
November 27th?
Alpha Syria is serious opera.
So how many more Mondays do we have?
So one is gods and mythology, and the other one is. Oh,
I want
look.
to throw pie in your face and poop on you.
Because the Monday after the 27th is final.
Before Mozart. Mozart.
Well, the 27th
No, like there's,
is after
Mozart.
Thanksgiving and that's the last week of
Yeah, but-
school.
that's literally all you
Okay, so we
have.
don't have any homework due the last week of school. Our test is
We know
due
our RST,
the
but we already,
Friday before Thanksgiving.
that's it. That's literally, that's literally it.
How much more homework do you wanna do?
None?
All right, this one you turn in next Monday will be the last one you have to turn in.
It's the fourth and Friday.
That should make it easy. I've passed out everything that you have to do for the rest of the semester. That one sheet.
Alright, after next Monday, it's one more week.
When we studied that master for this Monday,
You have the highest grade.
I need to. I don't think I'm gonna do well on this test.
You will, because you can write an
I haven't
essay.
even listened to the second half of the. Yeah, I can write an essay if I can remember what I'm writing.
Ooh, final project in freshman period. Let's see what's going on with that.
Oh, scary. What'd you get?
Realize the upper three voices for the given figured base. Keep in mind the rules we've discussed in class regarding doubling of chord tones, smooth voice leading, resolving tendency tones, and avoiding parallel fifths and octaves. Do you mind if we add direct fifths and octaves to that statement? Let's add that too. Okay.
I don't think I can do that.
So far so good. Let's add bass. Do you mind if I do it in keyboard style? Because
That's fine.
it's easier that way. Oh boy. Deception.
Disgrace.
Oh, I love me some 265. I think we did well on that. Okay, next part, complete a Roman numeral analysis of your realization. Make sure you identify the key and account for the aversion given by the figure base. Arrange your realization for the following mixed woodwind ensemble. B flat clarinet, E flat alto saxophone, horn in F, bassoon. Fluteless encounter there. Did y'all do this last fall?
Yep.
Did it rock? Was, did we put a drop at the end? Oh, I saw a little bit of video of the combined forces of the honor band and marching band. And it really helped fill up the stadium over there.
But after they
No
left.
one was there.
Why'd they leave?
Who
They
won?
always say until after.
ULL.
Not us.
What?
Yeah, it was bad.
Lost the game.
Aw,
Yeah.
who did we play?
We didn't have 0 points.
Well, they lost by 5.
That's not so bad.
I
We
have
didn't
one.
get civil.
I tied with Jose for.
We had some nice jump.
Okay.
We destroyed, that's all that matters.
Does everybody have their homework assignments for next Monday? Anybody in need?
Hey, I didn't turn it up.
Let's,
Oh yeah, I need it. I'm sorry.
let's do part 2 right now.
Okay. This is accepted.
Part 2, right now.
What else was it?
I'll do it too.
It's the
Who
80s.
took the chair?
Next week.
Is that the next week?
That's the next week.
Not this upcoming weekend, next,
11. That's Saturday.
Yes.
next weekend.
Yeah, the following.
What's next weekend?
I haven't yet.
Oh, yes. No, we're not going
Did you get
we're not
next
going to
week's
Georgia
homework?
Southern, are we?
No, we're done.
Did we get next week's homework?
Yeah, so I know on Saturday.
I think I'm gonna
I handed out 2 things today. If you don't have 2 things, plus your homework. Okay, if you were guessing, what key would the first example be in on line 2? What key? Line 2 of the homework, what key? Huh? That's exactly right. In my opinion, there's 2 correct realizations of this 5-to-1 situation. You can write them both down if you want. Just want you to do the first one, but I want you to do it right now, because I'm about to do it. I want you to have the opportunity for. I don't see many, I mean, I guess you could do a live. There's 3 possible things here. You could also do with this, you have those 2 possible answers. Is this correct?
That's what I did.
Okay, but you also have this. There's no figure base to, so then in my opinion, those are the correct answers to that first thing. So,
Wait, first.
well, yes, you can eliminate the 5th and an incomplete 5-chord. There's 2 instances where you can do that with the 7th and the soprano. Oh, actually, 3 instances. All right, try the next one on your own. I believe there's only one correct answer for this. Okay, do only this example and tell me when you're done. Everybody done? Anybody done? pretty soon. Rocky, you done? Emma, you done? Frederick, you done? Haley, you done? Kyle, Michael, are you done?